So this video will show you how to do descriptive statistics with R. The first thing is I have an RMD file open that I'm going to use, but you can also do these in the console. If you're going to use them in the console, you need to make sure you go into your packages and turn on Mosaic. So you go down your list until you find Mosaic and then make sure you turn Mosaic on. If you're using the RMD, it will turn on Mosaic in automatically for you. To find descriptive statistics using R, you use the command df for data function. The underscore is only there because R doesn't like spaces, so this just creates a space so you don't see this big long word. So df is always what you're going to use when you do statistics. So df underscore stats. Then we only have an explanatory variable, so we're just going to have, we don't have an response variable before it, so you just do tilde variable, whatever variable you want to use, and then comma, your data equals whatever the name of your data frame is that you're working with. And then you do a comma and you put in whatever statistics you're interested in. So as an example, if you're interested in finding the mean, then you put the word mean there. If you're interested in finding the median, you put the word median there. If you're interested in finding the standard deviation, you put SD for standard deviation, var for variance, range for range. The range doesn't actually calculate the range, it actually just gives you the max and min. And then summary will actually give you the 5-number summary and the mean. The advantages of this method is that you can actually do df stats, total variable, and all this stuff. And then instead of just stopping with mean, you could do mean, comma, median, comma, standard deviation, comma, whatever, all the ones you want to do, so that you can actually do more descriptive statistics at one time. We have some other ones that we're going to be doing. We're also going to do a box plot, which is just a plotting of the 5-number summary. And again, that's a graph, so it'd be a GF for graph function instead of DF for data function. And then box plot. And then we'll talk more about that when we get to an example. So let's go ahead and do an example. The first thing is I do need to make sure I've run this, this R chunk because I need Mosaic to be turned on. So I'll make sure you run it. So remember, you run it by clicking on the little play button. Then we need to load our data frame. So we're going to load it. I don't have anything in there that shows us what it is, so it doesn't look like anything happened. If I went ahead and put in the command head, this command will actually show me the first few, the first 6 units of observation and the names of the variables, which is kind of nice because we'd like to know what variables we're dealing with. This data frame only has 2 variables, the survival time, survival length of time for if you have cancer, and the organ is which cancer it's in. It looks like it's all stomach, but in reality it's not, because again, it's just showing you the first 6. If you want to look at the full data frame, you can come over here to your global environment and click on cancer. It will open up cancer, and you can now look through and see all of the variables and all of the data units of observation. So now I'd like to go ahead and put in an R chunk. So again, it's a good idea just after this one R chunk, just put a space, and spaces never hurt you, or returns never hurt, I should say return. So I'm going to insert an R chunk. I want to do a df stats. Again, it will start writing it for you as long as you've got Mosaic on. We're going to look at survival. Make sure I spelled survival the same way. And then my data frame is called cancer. And then I'd like to just find the mean. So then I put comma mean. And then I run it. And there is the mean. So this is the mean survival time for all cancers. I believe this is in months. Okay. If I want to find another one, let's again put it in a return and then insert an R chunk. And now we'll do df stats. And we'll do survival again. Remember, that is a tilde that you put in first. And then data equals cancer. And maybe this time I want to find the median. And I can run that one. Again, if you want to do a bunch at one time, go ahead and put in a return, insert an R chunk, then it's df stats, and then it's survival, and data equals cancer. And then just type in, you want to do mean, you want to do median, you want to do range, you want to do variance, and you want to do standard deviation. And then we can run all of those at one time. Now I've run all of those, and I can see I have mean, median, range. Though again, range doesn't give you the whole thing. So this is your mean. Notice your mean and median are not near each other. That is because it's probably some value that is skewing the mean instead of the median. And that usually means there's higher values. There's outliers that are up above. They're pulling the mean up, whereas the median is the middle data value. Range, here's your lower value and your upper value. So you just need to subtract those. And you can actually do that by just inserting an R chunk. And then say you want to, you can even copy. So you can even copy the top number, plug it into your R chunk, and then minus your lower number. And you can just type that one in because it's not a very long number. And then run that R chunk and it'll calculate that subtraction for you. So there's actually your range. There's your standard deviation. And so you can see all of those values. You can also do a 5-number summary. So again, I'm going to insert an R chunk. I'm going to do df stats, tilde survival, data equals cancer, and then this time I'm going to do summary. Run this R chunk, and then there's your minimum, your first quartile, your median, your mean. Even though the mean really isn't one of the 5-number summaries, they give it to you. Your third quartile and your maximum. If you want to, you can actually graph up these, and we can do that by GF because it's a graph. So GF box plot, and then you would do survival, data equals cancer, and then run that. Oops. Oh, I didn't spell survival right. This happens sometimes. You actually misspell and you can find out you made a mistake, and then you just run the R check again. And there is your box plot. So this box plot shows you the end of this. The bottom of the graph is your Q1. This solid line here is your median. The top line is your Q3. And then these dots here, all of these dots represent your outliers. So this one has 1, 2, 3, looks like 4, 5, though there could be dots that are on top of each other. So you could have more than 5 outliers, but we know at least have 5 outliers. There doesn't seem to be any outliers in the bottom. And so this is taking you down to probably your minimum value. And that's how we do that. You can also filter. So you can filter based on a variable. So let's say you want to actually know what is the mean, median, and standard deviation for each type of cancer. So then we would actually have, in this case, a response variable and an explanatory variable. So my response variable in this case is now going to be survival. My explanatory variable is what organ happens to be in. And so I do df stats, survival, organ, data equals cancer, mean and standard deviation is maybe what I want to find. I can also do the same thing with a box plot. I can do a box plot with this information and go ahead and run that. And there is, now there's 2 things here because it shows you both separately. Click on this one, you can see for breast cancer, this is your mean survival time. This is your standard deviation. For lung cancer, same thing. And for stomach cancer, same thing. And then you click on the other graph, you can now see your box plot for breast, bronchus, which is lung, colon, and so forth. And that's how we do descriptive statistics on R.